Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Diddle-dum-dum-dee-dum. Yes, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Now, those prawns and bananas that you get in Pick and Mix, what is the technical name for the substance that they're actually made out of? That's what I'm thinking.
Absolute Radio. Frank Skinner.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, and I'm in a small studio. I'm with Alun Cochrane, also known as the Cockerel. And guess what? She's back!
I am. I've returned.
Emily Dean has returned to the show at last.
Oh, thank you, Frank. No, it's lovely to be back, and it's lovely to see you boys, and I've been off, as you know, and my family and I have had quite a difficult few months, but I've really missed the show, and I'm just so glad to be back, and it's good to be back in my chair.
Well, it's great to have you. And does this mean you haven't been listening? That's what I'm getting from this.
If I can help by recapping things that we've covered previously, I shall throw them in.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Well,
various things.
We can start off with one of those bananas you get in Pick and Mix. What is that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You suggested marshmallow, but no way. No way is that marshmallow.
It was marshmallow. I just thought it might have a mallow in the ingredient.
Well, in the word.
It's too sturdy. I mean, there's actually quite a firm ridge on those prawns.
Yeah.
Are we going to say 8, 12, 15 if you do know what they're called?
I reckon I could de-ice the windscreen of my car with a prawn or banana from Pick and Mix.
If you got 5 and sellotape them to your fingers, it'd make quite a good claw.
I feel you've gone way over the top with this one.
For the de-icing. It's like a de-icing glove.
I'm not sure about it. It's a bit Freddy Krueger-esque.
It is, yeah. The last thing you want in a snowy evening.
Anyway, speaking of sweeties, which we were, I've got a mate that calls them sweeties all the time.
Oh, right.
He's Irish. I think it's an Irish thing. Because I once saw a Catholic priest talking about... and people would come in from the country and Mummy would give them sweeties. I never really understood what was going on in all that, but anyway. So I was on an aeroplane last weekend. Oh, yeah.
Oh, big wow.
Yeah. And what I've started doing now, I've noticed on aeroplanes, is I go in the shop beforehand, as you always do at the airport, and I've started buying about 4 packets of sweets. And
Frank,
just eating.
Just so FYI, most people call it duty-free, not the shop.
Well, does duty-free still exist? I haven't really worked that out. I didn't have to show them my ticket thing.
Boarding pass.
I didn't have to show my boarding.
You wear the cloak of celebrity.
Oh, that's it, yeah. My face is my fortune. I can buy Skittles without showing my boarding pass. So that's it, I've given away the game now. If you're from Skittles, don't send me any, I can afford them. And
that's good to know, isn't it?
I was eating, yes. Frank Skinner can afford Skittles.
Oh, big man.
So I was on and I eat them really quickly. I can get through a packet of Skittles in a minute.
Like handfuls? Are you doing handfuls at a time?
Yeah, I do like 4 or 5 at a time. Which is the new ones have got. They're supposed to have surprise centres, so the colour you expect. You think green. This is going to be a bit limey. Whoa, blackcurrant. But I don't give them a chance. They're going in multiples. You don't get that. Excellent. So in the end, I think they align themselves to the outer casing naturally in the mouth. Anyway, I did this thing which I've never done before. You know, when you get off a plane and you do that bit where you have to stand crook-backed because the overhead lockers are...
Oh, I hate that bit.
And also, you're trying to get out and there's people taking stuff out there and they're in the way.
Try being my height, guys. Try being my height.
I might actually try being your height. How tall are you?
About 6'3".
I'll try it this week. I think I can get a couple of shoes on prescription. That'll take me up there.
A couple of hardback books, sellotapes to the shoes. That'll do.
Well, I'll try it. You're very keen on me sellotaping things to my extremities today.
I've got a surplus of sellotape.
Have you? I thought you were moving towards the sales angle.
But presumably...
that's what's in that suitcase.
Well, when Cochrane, though, Frank, what he must get a lot is... Would you mind getting that down for me,
Oh,
mate?
I do a lot of that, yeah. Just like being at my mum's.
Oh, yeah, of course. I hadn't thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I thought I'm going to be, because occasionally you get these cool dudes, and they can be also who they just sit during all the
I'm just
kerfuffle.
laughing at your idea of a cool dude.
No, but they're not.
Kind of
not
plane that stays in a seat.
needn't be a guy. Needn't be a guy.
Or a gal.
Yeah, and they just everyone all around them. If you can keep your head when all around are losing theirs and blaming it on you, as Rudyard Kipling said, they just sit and they think, "Oh, go on, you idiots." Struggle to get your bags down and be crouched over and be trying to get in the queue. I'll just get off when you've all got off. And I've always admired those people, but I've never had the nerve to stay on. I don't know why. I always think I might miss my stop. As if planes, they just stop for like 2, and then they're off again.
This isn't the Belfast Africa run, is it?
Oh, no.
I've got stuff to do in Belfast.
Oh, no, never done where Limpopo is. What will I need to wear? Do they sell Skittles? And I did that. I stayed on. So I stayed on the plane and I let everyone get off. And I started to get so anxious.
Really?
Oh, did you?
And I don't know what it was. And I felt like the crew were like, come on, what are you waiting for? And I did think that thing that I was going to get stuck on it, or the cleaners were going to come on, I wouldn't get past them because I can't speak Spanish, or something like that. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it again. It's such a shame, because I just thought I was being so sophisticated and I was proud of myself. And also I went to airplane mode on the phone, which of course...
Yeah.
And I've noticed with airplane mode, something I haven't noticed, because we put it on before the show, we go to airplane mode. Have you noticed when you switch off airplane mode, on when you're on airplane mode, a little aeroplane comes on in the corner of the screen.
Yeah.
When you switch it off, it doesn't just disappear, it sort of flies off.
No.
Flies off.
That's first class.
Yeah? Well, I think it was actually economy. I was only going to Belfast. I wasn't prepared to spend.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
So I was in Belfast. That was my point. That's why I was on an aeroplane. I went to see... My mate was in Uncle Vanya. It's a play. And he's also... This was exciting. He's also in Game of Thrones. Are you aware of Game of Thrones?
Oh, yes, yes.
The big sort of fantasy series.
I'm aware of it, yes.
Yes.
I've seen it on the EPG. Is that what they call it?
The EPG? I don't know what that is.
When you're scrolling through on, like, your
the electronic
TV channel
programme
thing.
guide.
That's it,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know what that was. I thought it was a car in Captain Scarlet. So, anyway, by the way, Zora Suleiman,
Yes.
our newsreader today, has just nipped in to say that that prawns and bananas in Pick and Mix are made from a thing called foam candy.
I did say candy downstairs, didn't
You did. I like this foam
Yeah.
candy. You know when you get arm candy, which is like a sort of young woman. I reckon foam candy is in Ibiza.
I don't think I've heard of arm candy. I'm delighted
Yeah.
to hear that.
Oh, haven't you?
Yeah, when they say, there's not, what do they talk about? She's just arm candy.
Something
that
I've
girl.
always aspired to be.
Yeah, well, foam candies, if you're in Ibiza at one of those
At a
clubs.
foam party.
And
Those
he
parties.
went home with a bit of foam candy. Made from beaten egg whites,
Oh.
I'm told. It sounds quite healthy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Protein in it.
I wonder what they do with the yolks that don't make it into
They might
Pick and
go
Mix
to-
bananas.
The world's strongest man could have those.
They would
Yeah,
have the
but-
whites, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah,
It's the
you're
yolks
right.
they're funny about.
Is it?
All
It's funny because the bananas look like they've had a bit of yolkage for colouring. Anyway, that's that sorted. Fabulous
Meanwhile,
news.
back in Belfast...
Yeah, so because he's in this big fantasy series thing, he has to sign collector cards. You know, he's on cards.
Oh.
He's
Oh,
called
really?
Conleth Hill, my mate, and he plays the head eunuch. No, he does. He plays the head eunuch,
Okay.
and yeah, he didn't know. It's all mimed. The removal.
I've never met one of them.
No? Have you met any minor eunuchs? So anyway, he had to sign 1,000 collector cards, and I had to witness his signing.
You didn't have to, surely, but you did do
I
it.
did, because there's nothing worse than an unauthentic autograph. Don't you think?
Oh, you were like the independent adjudicator. I
Were
always
you
wondered
signing
what
them
you
in a
looked like.
corner, witnessed by?
I was once with a famous cricketer, and as we were going into the dressing room, this kid said, "Oh, will you get me blah blah's autograph?" It's another famous cricketer, and he said, "Yeah, I'll get it." And he went in the door and he just signed it on a bit of paper, his name, and then he went back out. And I was really upset by it. I thought it was just wrong. Anyway, so that was it was very exciting watching all these being... Wouldn't you love to be in one of those... I would kill. I think I would actually kill to be in Doctor Who, even in a small
Steady
walk-on.
on.
Really?
Not a human being, maybe a...
Animal.
Yeah, I'd kill quite a major animal. I'd kill a lion. I'd kill a lion to be on Doctor Who.
With what method have you thought this through?
Well, nothing. I mean, you know, I was thinking lethal injection.
People are eating their breakfast. You don't want it to be too gruesome.
No, I wouldn't feel good.
I would like a figurine fashioned in my likeness. I won't lie.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, to be an action figure. To be an action figure.
One of my
that
favourite hymns.
That was Farmer's Boy, wasn't it?
643 has texted in saying Wilco Johnson of Dr. Feelgood is also in Game of Thrones.
Wilco Johnson is?
Apparently so, according to 643.
What, the rubberneck lead guitarist from Dr. Feelgood? He's in Game of Thrones.
According to 643, Wilco Johnson of I've not given you any extra information there. I'm just telling you what he's put.
That's astonishing.
Yeah, if you'd known that, you could have asked your mate. Is this true?
You could knock me down with Anne Diamond.
Someone's texted, Frank is your mate, the one from Blue Heaven.
He is, yes.
Yes.
Oh, God, yes, he is.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
And then I went to Ballycastle.
Oh.
Out on the coast. And I'll tell you what's great about Ireland is they love a legend.
Oh, they do.
They love a legend. Well, we stood looking at the sea, me and my mate, and within 500 yards of us there was the Grey Man legend, who's a giant who appears in the mist of the sea now and again. And the Black Nun. They've usually got a collar.
The legends.
Yeah, have you noticed that, the local legends? White's very popular, White Lady, the grey.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're on invent. I'd like to have, like, the ochre adolescent who appears. There's just a vague orangey, but sort of burnt orange look to him.
The rainbow visitor or something.
Oh, that'd be great, yeah. I've had a few rainbow visitors in my time.
Yeah. I was back in the 80s.
But I do... I love it. I love a local legend.
Oh, I do.
Oh, God.
You say local, I'm actually a big fan of the Greeks.
Well, they've got a hatful.
They've got too many legends.
Too many, you think?
They now can't afford their legends.
No.
You think they've over-legended the pudding?
Yeah.
They're expensive to maintain, the legends.
I bet they are, yeah.
I don't feed themselves. I love Medusa. Nat.
The snakehead.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Silence you with her stare. That is what I do, after all, Frank.
True.
Now, can I ask you this? Medusa...
Slash Gorgon.
Yes, that's what I was going to... Flash Gordon? I don't think Flash Gordon's Greek, is it? Legendary as he may be.
He's a legend.
Yeah, she's... Because they used to call her the Gorgon in horror films, but I think she is a Gorgon, isn't she?
Yes, exactly.
She's one of the Gorgon species.
Very good work, Skinner.
But she's the best known.
She is.
She's to the Gorgons what Diana Ross was to the Supremes.
Right.
I think you'll agree.
Yes.
It's an analogy that's often drawn.
Isn't it?
She's a little over-commercial for my liking, though.
Medusa.
So I'll tell you what
like her
I
early
like.
stuff?
Yes. Everyone got into her. I'm a big fan of the Centaur.
The Centaur is a classic.
Half man, half horse. Can I tell you for why, Frank? Now, you and I, you may be aware of this, Alan, but you know Frank and I, we pretty much loathe horses.
Yeah.
Frank and I.
I'll tell you, the listeners don't like our anti-horse material.
I know they don't.
I've said lay off the anti-horse material, but no, she won't let it go.
No.
Frank, we have to be
Rein
honest
it
here. Nay. We just don't get along with them. I'm not saying we loathe them. We just don't get along with them. That's fair to say, Frank.
No, you're not now.
We do loathe them. I just don't want you to say that.
We find horse riding challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Frank,
You know that thing in Jaws where they killed the shark and everyone in the cinema applauded? Don't know if you saw it in its original form. I did that in The Godfather when they found the horse's head in the bed. Just me. I stood as well. Stood. Person behind me was going, sit down!
Frank and I hated that they said, you just have to wait for them. They have to learn to respect you. Why should we wait around?
You learn to respect me. I've been in this business 25 years. What do they want?
No, but Frank, hence the joy of the Centaur. we can sit on that, and then you can stop. They don't flare their nostrils. It's no nice man. You can talk to
bloke,
you and say, "Oh, did you see the David Hockney exhibition
Yeah,
last
I
week?"
believe "sit on that" is the catchphrase of the centaur. Yeah.
So,
It's like the best bits of a horse and the best bits of a person.
Of a man.
isn't it? You get the
That's
companionship.
I would love
and you
riding.
can-
If I could go
you
on a
can trot
centaur,
around.
I'd be riding day and night.
It's so true, though. And how handy to be able to just hook on a saddlebag, 'cause you can get a lot more in that than the average haversack.
Do you think dad centaurs are double grumpy and double moany because they're going, oh, the price of kids' shoes?
Of course,
Buying
yeah.
4 at a time in Clark's here. you
Yeah,
know?
but they do come with a certain amount of good fortune. Let's not deny that.
Probably
I've always been
cost-effective.
a big fan of Spring-Heeled Jack.
Spring-heeled
Oh.
Jack.
I don't
Spring-Heeled
know
Jack
his work.
is a London legend, and he used to basically jump quite a lot.
Right.
I mean, people don't know whether he was true or not. He was cited a lot in the 19th century, and he used to sort of be a horse going down the road on it, pulling a carriage, and suddenly Spring-Heeled Jack would jump, just land in front of it, and obviously they'd have to pull up sharp. The horses would all go crazy, and then he'd jump over a wall and get away. And
He sounds like a burglar.
But he was an incredible jumper, apparently, and I've always been slightly fascinated by jumping as an art form. have you not?
Well, I remembered Bruce Grobbelaar's Leap, but other than that, I don't-
Bruce Grobbelaar's Leap, what a band that was.
I like their early stuff.
No, I was so obsessed with jumping as a child that I did this thing where I jumped off the bottom step of the stairs, and then the next day I jumped off the second.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, give me 3 weeks, I'll be able to jump from the top of the stairs. You get to about stair 9, and you get shooting pains going up your legs as you land. And so I was on 9 for a month, and eventually I gave up. Looking back now, it's one of those things, you gave up as a child, like piano lessons, and think, if I'd stuck with that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
you'd be jumping off
I wouldn't have
buildings.
to leave here by elevator. I could just jump straight into Golden Square. And there was one of them. Well, I'll tell you about Joe Darby afterwards. Probably the greatest jumper of them all.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
So, Joe Darby, when I was a kid growing up in the West Midlands, was a bit of a local legend. I mean, he wasn't around anymore, but people always told tales of Joe Darby, and he was an exhibition jumper. I don't mean as in a knitted garment, clearly, but what he used to do these tricks. He could jump a snooker table lengthwise from a standing
No.
jump.
way.
Yeah, he used to have little weights in his arms, and he used to swing his arms with the weights and then jump. He used to jump onto a basket of eggs and off again without breaking any eggs. And one of his party pieces was to jump off a table onto his child's face and then off again. He would have walked Britain's Got Talent when he would have jumped it, obviously.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, truly amazing. And he used to jump at the canal, putting one foot down as he went across, and then they used to check and the foot was wet where he'd actually trodden on the water. What about that?
So he'd sort of slap the water with his foot.
I think it's all to do with momentum, because you get the weight swinging, and then
So he basically skimmed himself across there like a stone.
oh yeah, I
That
think
doesn't
he.
sound remotely dangerous or irresponsible.
No, I'm not. If you're at home, don't jump onto your child's face. 'Cause
No.
this can be done.
God, it's health and safety gone mad in here, isn't it?
I know. Duncan Mackenzie, though, used to play for Leeds. He could jump over a minicar from a standing.
Like Evil Knievel.
Yeah, but I think he was motorised.
Oh, okay.
If I remember
Yeah.
rightly. I
822.
remember I
St
s-
Michael was a fine jumper.
Oh,
70s fabric knit-based joke there.
No, there isn't enough for that. Acrylic or non-acrylic? Yeah, I once spent ages looking for Evil Knievel in a haystack. So,
Oh, Frank, I'd like to talk to you about these boxers. What are we going to do with them, eh?
We should just say Frank is wearing trousers. It's not.
I'm just doing the show in boxers today. And I should have gone for a bottom fly and not just a gapage.
Oh, Frank! What a welcome that was.
Looking back, exactly.
No, well, they're getting a bit knocked anyway.
We're talking about our own local boy, Derek Chisora.
Derek Chisora, I know. My face fell as you said that when I hoped you were going to finish Derek with Akora.
Yeah, of course. He's so close to Derek Akora. I mean, not friendship-wise. He may be. He might be after tonight.
And he's fighting this chap...
Derek Akora might be the only person who can communicate with him.
Is it Vitaly Klitschko?
Yeah, he's one of the Klitschko brothers.
Do you know what? I thought he might be rather nice for me. He's got a PhD. But
Has he?
Yes, that's why they call him Dr. Iron Fist. I don't know if that's why they call him Dr. Iron Fist.
Dr. Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I think he used to work in a club I used to go to.
Dr. Iron Fist.
Yeah. Club called Fire. Do you know it?
No.
Okay.
But anyway,
he's very naughty, Derek.
Well, he's got into trouble because, well, first of all, he's been slapping him about.
He shouldn't. You're not supposed to slap them at the weigh-ins.
They've got rules about that.
You're supposed to be staring.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. Not
staring at another man in your pants is effectively what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's very eye to eye.
But he'd already got Dr. Iron Fist aerated.
Yes.
Due to his choice of entrance music, shall we call it?
Oh.
Because normally they have things like Chris Eubank had Simply the Best, didn't he?
He certainly did.
And you say that was slightly scathing.
I was always a big fan of Chris Eubank as a boxer, but it was coming into Simply the Best. I mean, they're not known for their modesty, are they, boxers?
No. In fact, it's almost a backward step to be modest as a boxer, isn't it?
But I think you should... I mean, I'm with Derek on this. You should be able to choose your own walking music.
Although Derek has chosen Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
Now, has he chosen... Got it in my pocket? Has he chosen... Is there only one Fools and Horses theme?
Yes.
So...
God bless.
Is it not different at the end? Is it not one of those with a second theme tune at the end?
What, no income tax? That bit, I assume, is what he wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we sing it, do we have to pay? Not us personally.
Didn't Abu Hamza used to enter the ring with to Hookie Street? No, I think he's chosen a sing-along British classic. He actually said, next to the national anthem, it's the most recognisable theme tune in the world. It's a big claim, Derek.
Yeah.
And I think that suggests to me that Derek is a parochial character.
I like the idea of the national anthem being a theme tune as well.
England, Britain's theme tune.
Also, it's not very rousing, Frank. It just reminds me of smoky living rooms in the 80s. Only Fools and Horses.
I thought you meant the national anthem.
Oh, that too.
True. I remember when TV used to end with the national anthem at night.
Oh, yeah.
About 11 o'clock when TV ended, and they used to play the national anthem.
And people stood.
Not in our house.
No.
Not the Catholic households. We hissed. Yeah, we did live next door to the Gorgons. They were a rough family. Who were sisters, apparently.
Yes, that's right. That's according to 643. Thank you for that.
643, I never question his knowledge of Greek mythology.
No.
Or hers.
Yeah.
Oh, that sorted that out. I was a bit worried about how the Gorgons and Medusa got together. Didn't somebody once ask the cause that in an interview?
Yes, it was Donna Eyre. How did you meet?
Was it Donna Eyre?
Yeah.
Was it?
Classical.
I don't know what music I would have if I was a boxer to go on with. Like, it's sometimes as a comic you're asked what walk-on music do you want, and it's quite hard to choose because you kind of want to give the audience a clue that you're really hip and cool, but at the same time it's just music to walk on to. I did Michael McIntyre's Comedy Roadshow in the past, and I picked... Is that a new one?
Yes. Comedy Roadshow in the past. Is it like you have to wear Victorian costume?
It's only on Deja Vu.
Oh, lovely.
And
the home of witty banter.
The home of witty banter.
Actually, Dave Jarvu's probably got a different... The home of retrospective witty banter.
Slightly sentimental. But I picked Eels, That's Not Really Funny, because I just thought that's quite cute in it to go on to a song called That's Not Really Funny.
It's very brave.
Well, nobody knows. It just sounds like music, doesn't it?
Yeah. I chose Kim Jong-il's It's Not Really Funny. Which is his... Did you know he covered it?
No.
Oh, God, it's a bit military, but I like it.
Absolute Radio, Frank Skinner.
By the way, if you want to text us about anything, we're just talking about theme tunes.
Yeah.
You can text us on 8 12 15. My theme tune, of course, used to be a song called Fun Time Frankie.
Oh,
which
yes,
I used to come on. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Was that composed especially for you?
It was composed by me.
Was it?
But, yes. But, you know, I couldn't come on to... And now a man of my years coming on to Fun Time Frankie just seems wrong. It's like I'm falling into the same trap as Baby Spice. I mean, how much longer is she going to be able to keep...
She's not still calling herself Baby Spice.
Yeah, people still call her Baby Spice, don't they?
Oh, right, yeah, but she's not in charge of that, is she?
Oh, no,
put it
but
out
you don't want to be Baby Spice.
Put it out there.
What is she now? Mid-40s?
52.
She
Frank,
I bet she wished she'd gone for
I'd
Baldy.
quite like to reclaim the Coronation Street theme tune. Hear me out.
Okay.
Because actually, I think that sort of brassy trumpet,
Yes.
and there's quite a sort of louche double bass as well.
Oh, it's louche. I don't think anyone would argue with that.
Well, no, I think it's quite gin-soaked femme fatale. I'd quite like that as my theme tune. Yeah,
Whenever I do that theme tune, I always find myself... You know, people go, da, 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 da. I always do, like, the trumpet. So whenever I sing Coronations, I go, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I do that a lot with theme tunes. On the buzzes.
No, but you sing
blah, 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 blah.
You sing brass in pocket when you go to the cash point.
Yeah, I do that. That's a fair point.
Frank,
somebody texted me recently saying that they were watching Cora, and I assumed that they meant Coronation Street, but had just rejected the standard abbreviation to Corrie and gone Cora. But in a way it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does, it's better.
They're trying, but it's not quite working.
I like it,
Unless it was autocorrect or something.
Unless it was a... It was so they were watching Derek at Cora. And that had accidentally
Frank, we've had a text in 135 from Ian in Glasgow. Of course, the centaur was half bull, he says.
No, that's incorrect. That's the Minotaur.
See, I pronounce that Minotaur, but I don't say it very often. So
no, how often do you say it, would you say, in a year?
I'd say about once every 10 years.
Well, anyway, it's... I'm going to keep a check now how often I say it. It's an interesting diary entry. I'll just write M in the corner of the page.
You might do it when you were starting out as a young comic, a Minotaur.
All right.
Puns are back.
Little pun.
No, so, I'm sorry, who was it who sent that in?
Ian,
was,
Glasgow. Of course,
Ian
the centaur
from
was
Glasgow.
hot.
Well, Ian, you said it in a reprimanding, correcting tone, and I'm afraid you've rather fallen flat.
Yeah,
And just for that, Ian, I'm going to say Glasgow, because I know how much you like that.
In fact, I think you're talking Minotaur excrement.
And 454 has texted in saying, I remember Duncan Mackenzie also once threw a golf ball from one goalmouth terrace to the other without it bouncing on the pitch.
This sounds like an irate neighbour. And did she then say, and if it comes over here again, I'll put a knife through it? No, he did. That was another one of his specialities, that long-distance golf ball throwing.
Wow. Didn't Slim Jim Baxter once do keepy-ups all up and down the touchline for a whole of half-time?
Yeah, but keepy-ups.
It's easy.
There used to be a player at West Bromwich Albion called David Burnside who was doing that in the 50s. Said, "Oh, come to me with your Slim
That's
Jim
what I'm
Baxter."
talking about.
He was a Johnny Come Lately. Jimmy Come Lately. He called him. Yeah, but they're football-based skills, not like jump.
Yeah.
How do you know you can jump a mini without... the only way you'd ever know that is if you're drunk and you're on the way back from the pub with your mates.
Yeah.
And you're walking along, talking to one of them, like, turn backwards. You turn around, you're confronted, there's a mini straight in front of you, you go, whoop, and jump straight over it. And they all, applaud spontaneously. And the next morning you lie in bed and think, did I jump? I jumped a mini last night. And then you know you can do it, and you do it regularly. It's a party piece. That's how that works with the mini jumping thing, in my experience.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
No lighty, no likey, Florence and the Machine.
I met the guy that came up with that as a phrase.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And apparently they'd been staring, going, if you don't like her, you don't, or, if your light doesn't go up, whatever. They'd been workshopping for a phrase, and he came up with no lighty, no likey.
Well, so didn't Paddy come up with it? You tread on my dreams, tread softly.
Sorry.
I
Show business.
think it's perfectly all right to get a man who comes in with those catchphrases, isn't it? There's catchphrase specialists.
I don't know if he's a catchphrase. I think he's a comedy writer. In fact,
the man who I think he also wrote "Sit on That" for the Centaurs.
For the centaurs.
Frank 631 who I think might be one of my regulars, but I'm not sure. Says Dave Javu, the home of staircase wit? Question mark. What does that? I don't get it. There's a joke in there
Dave
somewhere.
Javu, the home of staircase wit.
Do you think it's because it's an hour behind? It's like it's back.
Yes.
Like
Come on, I'm with you. I'm going with you. But where are you taking me?
It's a step back. It's a step backwards, isn't it?
Staircase.
Dave Sharp. I don't.
No. Do you think he means the home of Witty Bannister?
Something like that.
Didn't he run the first 4-minute mile with Witty Bannister?
It used to be the Radio 1 controller.
That's what they called him at public school. Witty Bannister. I like to think I get most jokes, but I don't get the home of staircase banter.
It needs a little bit of work.
No, it might be brilliant. We just might not have grasped it.
Can you send in the next part? This is nice, isn't it? We've now gone to a sort of an audio cryptic crosswords. It's not so much a radio entertainment show anymore.
But it's good, this. I was listening to the Golden Hour on Chris Moyles yesterday. I was in a car, and people were texting in to say what year the records were from, and I thought, this doesn't count anymore, does it? Because people just Google it.
Yeah.
There was a time when there was a thrill and excitement to that. But what's any kind of competition now, really, is futile.
Cheats.
That's why we don't do them.
No.
Well, it's also because we don't have the administration or backup to run them.
And we keep the prizes, don't we? We just pretend we're going to run
and
them.
also,
we keep the prizes.
We just forget. But whereas you can Google the home of witty staircase banter, and good luck.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
You know what's really annoying?
You've got banana in your mouth?
Yeah. Real banana, mine, not foam candy. That's what you're thinking.
Oh, Frank, we've correctly identified...
Hold on, I have to do my bit at the top of the hour. This is
Frank.
I have to do this. This is professional. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, and I'm with Alan Cochrane and Emily Dean. You see, high energy for the breakfast show, that's what I adopt.
Someone with a mouthful of banana, it's ironic.
I have to do this, this is professional. I've got a mouthful of banana.
No, but professionalism in this show, I like to think, it shines through, like, the way sunshine shines through a tree. There's quite a lot of darkness there, but occasionally a beam comes through.
Glimpse.
Just a glimpse, yeah.
Frank, 198 has enlightened us. Do you remember we were talking about deja vu? And Deja vu, I'm sorry.
You see
the home of staircase wit was the joke, yeah.
198 says, a staircase remark is the witty retort that you only think of when it is too late.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
There's a French word for it.
Is that like esprit d'escalier, you call it?
Yes. Yeah, it's the thought on the stairs.
Staircase wit, yes.
I didn't know. I love that. I see the reason I don't know that is that's never happened to me. I always think of it instantly. But
what a life.
Yeah. But no, that's actually a very clever joke, and I've learnt a new phrase and some French, all in one marvellous explosion of knowledge.
Frank, I don't wish to alarm you, but is the security guard doing some hoovering downstairs? I've never heard noise like it.
I can't. I'm hoping that the listeners can't hear that. I feel like if you can imagine we was doing the show on a hovercraft. Have you ever been on a hovercraft?
Yes, I have, I think.
I'd say it's the loudest form of transport, of all the transports. I remember getting on it and saying, oh, it's lovely, it's like being on a boat. And they said, OK. And they talk about like a flight. And we're now preparing to embark on it. I thought, oh, this is lovely, isn't it? And it was like that for the whole...
Oh, no, I've not been on a hovercraft.
Hot air balloons.
I said yes, and I've
That's
realised
noisy,
no.
though.
You lied about the hovercraft.
I think
Christopher Cockrell will be rolling in his grave.
I don't think I really thought. I think
Sir Christopher Cockrell, of course, you should know about the hovercraft if anyone did. That's who invented it, Sir Christopher Cockrell.
Really?
So what did you think? What have you been on which you thought was on a hovercraft?
I think I just answered yes without really thinking about it. I just went yes in a sort of an
a good job. This isn't
way.
in some sort of police interview.
Well, it isn't. Is it? I don't think police interviews have got a bloke hoovering next door or whatever that noise.
I bet they have. I bet all of them have. You know the old good cop, bad cop, hoovering cop theme?
That'd be great if the good cop was just doing a little bit of housework.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a good cop.
I think it would
I've
work
got an apron
in
on.
a more interesting way if the bad cop was doing the housework. So the reason he got bad was resentment that the good cop never has to do any hoovering.
Yeah.
If there's anyone out there writing a detective series, you can use that.
Yeah.
Frank, never mind that.
Isn't that a Sex Pistols album?
I'd like to kick off. I'm going to call it Fashion Corner this week.
Thank God you're back.
I
We
feel
can
you-
talk about fashion again.
I'm really glad.
We do need to talk about fashion. Cockerell's wearing double denim today.
Don't mind it.
I like it. No, I'm all
He's
over
an
it.
enthusiast.
We've talked about this before.
And he's got Sean
Very
locks.
comfortable.
And I'm all over them as well.
Sean Locks.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, Sean Locks, I see.
No, it is very... It's a denim shirt as well, not a jacket.
It's very Prison Break. I love it.
It's very Jeremy Clarkson relaxes.
No, it is not. I'm not having that.
Anyway.
Oh, that's hard. Never mind that. What about the Queen? The Queen has been... Well, she's got in a bit of trouble. Because... But
Can
the
we
Daily
just say
Mail,
she's still alive? The way
Yes.
Emily said that one about the Queen, I don't want anyone thinking, oh my God, what's happened to the Queen? She's
No.
very well.
She's very well. In fact... but she's got in trouble with the Daily Mail because she had what they described as a colour clash with the ABFC, friend of the show, Archbishop of Canterbury.
Ah. No, I saw those pictures. Did you as a fashion expert
Yes.
and deputy editor of InStyle magazine,
Yes.
did you think the Queen's red outfit and the Bishop's purple, is cassock the word?
Oh, you should know, love.
I know, but I don't dabble with the Anglicans.
Oh, okay. Tell me about it.
Did you think that was a clash, the red and the purple?
I actually think it was so directional, they were colour blocking.
Direction.
That's what I thought.
They were colour blocking beautifully.
Well, if that's a clash, Crystal Palace are in big trouble. Because that is their kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very fashion forward. And she went for a matching hot red lip, I noticed as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
Brave.
Yeah.
Brave.
She looked a bit like sort of Marilyn Monroe. If Marilyn Monroe, no, if she'd lived, that's what Marilyn Monroe would look like.
It was also my favourite headline of the week was Cardinal Error.
Oh, that is good.
Love
good.
that. Strong word.
But I thought the purple and the red went fine. I did look at his purple outfit and think, thank God Barney the dinosaur wasn't visiting instead of Her Majesty the Queen, or that would have been
Can I
too
ask
purple.
you a question, Frank, which I feel you might know the answer to?
Can I save this until after the
Okay.
next piece of music? Because I think it's nice to have a teaser.
Oh, isn't it? It's a cliffhanger.
It's quite a teaser. It's a liturgical question.
I used to work as a teaser at a horse stud, but we'll leave that.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Feeling numb by the fall.
So you couldn't play The Fall as your theme tune if you were a boxer, could you? Because you wouldn't want The Fall.
Oh, see.
Because you don't
No,
want to fall, do you?
but
as
you
a
could play
boxer?
Two Little Boys by Rolf Harris, and I would choose that.
That would be inappropriate. Surely it's too jolly.
That's why I choose it.
That's not jolly, it's sad.
I'd play Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Oh, but that's suggesting that you get knocked down.
I know, maybe you wouldn't.
Anyway.
I'm glad we've established what we'd all play.
I like a bit of Chumbawamba. Not just that one. There.
There are
It's out
others.
there. I'm putting it out
You're telling
there.
me there are others?
There are others, yeah. I'm putting it out there. Like it. There you go. I've said
Well,
it.
that's all the Chumbawamba news we have time for today. However, I would like to direct our attention back to the Queen and her sartorial mishap. But specifically,
Area.
Frank, she was wearing, a colour clash with the ABFC, the Archbishop of Canterbury. May I ask you something, which I feel you'll know the answer to? He was wearing purple. Does he get a choice with those sort of liturgical colours, I'm calling them? Does he wake up one morning and think, oh, I fancy the red one?
Well, no, because purple is... I'm going off the Catholic Church now, but
Okay.
purple is the bishop colour.
Oh, is it?
So it must apply to archbishops as well. Red is the cardinals.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so you can't just...
Well, you can't just put on what you fancy.
He could have gone for a plain black.
Could he? He
could.
knew what he was doing then.
I think I'm surprised that the palace don't phone ahead and say the Queen will be in orange today, and so everybody knows. Obviously, that would be bad news.
A bit girly.
Because I believe there was some Harry Krishnas at that reception. And what are they going to wear? They go over to their wardrobe. Apparently, the Queen's wearing orange. Oh,
I hope that no one from Absolute Radio hangs out too much with the ABFC.
The fabulous Absolute Purple as well. It was
I don't really understand this, but I did used to do karate, and you're allowed to wear certain belts, but you couldn't just turn up in a black belt if you fancied it.
No.
You know, if you were a yellow belt, you couldn't just put black on and go, I just fancied a black belt today.
It was like swimming at school. Did you get the stripes for swimming? If you swum a length, you get a white stripe. And
green stripe, blue stripe.
And there was that one when you had to put pyjamas on and take a rubber brick off the bottom of the...
Yeah, that was bronze medal, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was that? That was the STA, I think. All these happened with me staring from the shallow end, of course. But I remember them well. I remember the stripes. They used to stitch them onto their trunks.
Yes.
Yeah.
The elephants did.
Frank.
We swam with elephants. Did I tell you? I grew up in Kinshasa.
You did a little accent there to make it sound authentic.
Stayed on a plane from Belfast, didn't you?
It was
an
fabulous.
accent and a wiggle he did, as he said.
Yeah, me and the local native boys beating washing on stones. It was a beautiful childhood in many ways.
Sounds idyllic.
Odd you haven't mentioned it before now, really, isn't it?
Well, you know,
you'll find there are great periods of his life that are quite odd.
Yeah, I think you've known me how long, Alan?
Well.
Yeah, but I'm a book with many pages.
Frank, the Queen has been in the papers again.
Chapter 3, Africa. Yes, the Queen's been in the papers again. Well, don't talk, that's a shocker.
No,
Queen in the papers, you say?
Absolute 1950s.
God, she's an attention seeker, the Queen.
But this time, it was to do with Ronnie Corbett. Did you see that?
Oh, yes.
He was given a CBE.
Excellent news. He was, because he said, I feel that Ronnie Barker is looking down on me. I thought, well, we all are, dear. No choice. No, I was very happy to see Ronnie get his OBE.
I noticed that she'd stolen the ABFC's style and had plumped for purple for her meet with Ronnie Corbett.
I didn't spot that.
I also like that she said, "You make people laugh," was what she said.
Yeah,
I think she said it with a question mark.
Oh, really?
She said, "You?" No, isn't he one of those quite special characters who the Queen knows who he is?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yes.
I would like to compile a list of people who the Queen would know without any introduction from an assistant.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I wouldn't be on it, because I've met the Queen and she said, "Who are you?"
Does she come right out and just say it?
She does, yeah. She said, "Who are you and what do you do?"
I'm a football match.
And she knows.
Who are you?
Yeah, she knows you can't come straight back at her and say, "Well, anyway, who are you?" Because she knows that'd be ridiculous. So she's got you on the back foot, the Queen. Yeah, so that's what she said. And then Anton Dett was next to me. She didn't know who Anton Dett was.
No.
Can you believe that? But Ronnie Corbett, I think she'd know him. I think you have to be around about 50 years for the Queen to know who you are. And even then, it's a game of chance.
Like red or black.
You make people... A cab driver said to me this week, I said... I asked him when we were going or something, and I said, "Sorry, I'm getting old," and he said to me, he said, "If you keep..." I can't do the accent. He was foreign. I'll do the accent because it's no particular accent. He said,
now you said that,
producer's
that's
got
fine.
a head in her hands right
I can't.
I think East European's all right. I don't think European is controversial. And he said,
okay.
he said, "If you continue to make the whole family laugh, you will never grow old." And I thought, what a lovely tribute. And then I thought, whose family? And that's nagged at me, obviously, ever since. But
Absolute Radio, Frank Skinner.
Meanwhile, over at Buckingham Palace, with the Queen and Ronnie Corbett...
oh, yes.
So she gave him his CBE. Not a knighthood. I was disappointed by that,
is
Frank.
a shame, isn't it?
But they didn't clash, although Ronnie shouldn't have wore the crown.
Yeah, but then I thought,
a
Frank, she
mistake.
could have said, "It's good night from me." Well, that would have been good.
Oh, that would have been...
Yes.
Was that the headline?
No, because he only got a CBE.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that. And he said she was remarkable for her age.
Yes.
Yeah, both of these sound like kind of pat compliments, don't they? You make people laugh, and I've got the comedian's mindset of thinking, do you mean brackets, not me, but other people apparently?
Well, the way you said it with the emphasis on people, you make people laugh, but you never make any of the other animal kingdom laugh at all.
No, I just meant that it sounded like she was saying other people quietly, and then he said she looked remarkable for her age. And the word remarkable's a really easy compliment, isn't it? Because everything's remarkable. I could... Also... this bottle of water's remarkable, but it's not. It's just that if I choose to remark upon it, then it's remarkable, isn't it?
Yes.
You see what I mean?
I should say that the bottle of water that Alun is drinking out of is the same shape as the Spanish Steps, the well-known Roman site, so it is actually quite remarkable.
Is it any more remarkable than any other bottle of water? That's the big question.
Well, because of its
you can remark upon anything.
No more remarkable than Gaudi constructed one.
No, that one is. I thought you'd just left that one by the 2-bar heater I always have in the corner of the studio. I do the whole thing in a tweed blanket, in case you're wondering. People, who was this celebrity who lost her virginity on the Spanish Steps? Who was that?
I don't know. Text in 8 12 15.
Wow.
Yes, you would.
You can count me out for a start.
Yes. I don't think they were built when you lost your virginity.
Andy's back.
Yes, well, also, remarkable for your age means you're not remarkable, objectively speaking, only because you're 85. Mm-hmm. Reminds me of a terrible dilemma I got into with a woman I knew, and who I meant this in the kindest of ways. I meant it as a compliment.
Whenever you start an anecdote like that, it always ends in tragedy.
And I said, you're in great shape for a woman with 2 kids. And she absolutely went ballistic.
Oh,
and I really thought it was a nice thing to say. Was I some sort of a naif? Was I a naif from the halfway line?
Some man said to me when he ran into me, "Oh, you look good. You've kept your figure." What? Like, isn't that what you say to a 70-year-old?
Yeah, there's a sense of conservation about that, which I don't like.
But I must say, Ronnie shouldn't be going around saying, "You look good for your age." He's not exactly cast of skins himself, is he?
No.
I mean, he's ancient, Ronnie.
I think he might be cast of skins in one of those exhibitions that German bloke in the black hat puts on. But, no, he's a legend, though. He's a comedy legend.
Love Ronnie Corbett.
I'll tell you what I love about it, as we end our discussion of Ronnie Corbett. I think it's the first ever... Oh, no, it isn't. I let the side down. I was going to say it's the first ever discussion when Ronnie's height has not been referred to, but the first thing I said was about Ronnie's height. I have failed. But to have that's my ambition for this show, to have a conversation one week about Ronnie Corbett and not mention his height at all.
And then the week after we'll do the same with Peter Crouch. How does that sound?
Oh, God. And then Vanessa Feltz is the next challenge. Yeah, just carry on like that and see how many cliches we can challenge.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
I'd like to do a couple of thank yous, actually. I was sent gifts through the post from Nougat. Do you remember Nougat, who occasionally texts in? Some call him Nugget. I prefer the French.
Ted Nougat, yeah.
Yeah, and he sent me a bib. Not, some of you may think, for my 55th birthday, but no. for my child, who is on the way, I'm told.
Yeah, double up as a double gift, though.
He texted me from Nairobi. This is my African child.
I know, but I'm very excited.
And also Gary Patterson, who for my birthday, sent me a rather fabulous DVD of ITV wrestling.
Oh, was that for the baby as well?
No, this is something to do during those sleepless nights. They're all there. Yeah. Jackie Paolo, Mick McManus, Steve Logan.
Oh, I love Mick McManus.
Burt Ryle, Vic Faulkner.
Have you done
Tibor Zakash?
I had a feeling the list couldn't be complete.
Ricky Starr, Les Kelly, the great Les Kelly.
Wasn't he the funny one?
Oh, he was amazing. I'd put him above Chaplin in the clown.
Put him above Chaplin.
I would. He was brilliant, Les Kelly. Anyway,
Frank, we've had some emails in after that extraordinary statement. This one is from Mike in Vietnam. Good morning.
Wow. Hey.
He says, "Dear Frank, the Cockerel and Emily, love the show as ever. I know Frank has some 15th century guy who looks like him.
He's actually late 18th, early 19th. I think he's referring to David Ricardo, the political economist. Close friend,
the loose economist.
Close friend, you'll remember, of Richard Conversation Sharp.
Sharpie?
Or as they call him at Dave, Richard Banter Sharp.
Yes. So I know Frank has some 15th century guy who looks like him, David Ricardo. And I've just found the Cockrells, look-alike, presumably. The BAFTA-winning screenplay writer, Peter Strawn.
This is the man who did The Artist.
No, I think he did Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Right, yeah.
No, that was adaptation, wasn't it? Anyway, we'll let it off. I don't want to get into...
I think he did a screenplay. Either way, he's won a BAFTA for a screenplay.
Yes, he has. Have you seen Peter Strawn, Frank?
I haven't. Does he look like the Cockerel?
Have you seen him, Cockerel?
I've seen him, yeah, and I'm not sure. I'd like to know.
You're not happy with this one, are you?
I'm all right.
Can I just say, this complicates things for me rather.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes. Oh, God.
Because...
Have you had a moment with a straw now?
Straw, no.
That's what I'm calling him.
No, but Peter Strawn, I can't even look at the Cockerel while I'm saying this.
Okay.
He's one of my OCs.
Obscure Crushes?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
I speak the code. I speak the Emily code. So I know that...
I know. It's really put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yes.
Never mind the cockerels.
No.
Not least because I was once on a train with the MP Tom Watson on it, and I texted you
some
saying...
incredible name-dropping going on in this section.
I said the MP Tom Watson is on my train, and you said he's one of my OCs, so I know about Emily's OCs.
Yes.
I know that means Obscure Crush.
But I hadn't initially seen the resemblance, I have to be honest. But I don't wish to make the cockerel feel uncomfortable in the workplace.
No.
Exactly, there's rules about that.
So,
There are, yeah.
So I will terminate the crush forthwith.
It's
I'm not
interesting.
sure I look that like him.
You're more Nordic. You're
He's
more
got
Nordic.
dark curly hair. Funny you should say I'm more Nordic, because we've recently watched The Killing on the DVD, and apparently my father and mother-in-law think I look a bit like the bloke who plays Hartman
Trolls.
in the first
Yes.
series. Apparently I've got a look of Hartman.
Can I say to any listeners that The Killing is a TV programme? When you say watch The Killing on DVD,
I do live in Manchester.
it's not snuff movies or anything of that nature. Is that the first time snuff movies have been mentioned on Absolute Radio?
Possibly.
No, Ben Jones talked about them.
I think at the moment it's Minotaur 4, Snuff Movies 1 in the references front. I watched the BAFTAs. It was, yeah, obviously I turned the sound down for Stephen Fry. But I was pleased with the... I haven't seen The Artist, but I did like the fact that the actual best screenplay went to the bloke for The Artist, and there's no words in it. There's something brilliant about that.
Yes.
He's a very good describer,
Yes.
that bloke. I once saw a silent film. I've never told you this story. I saw a silent film made... It was one of the first ever MGM movies, and it was silent. But they still had the lion. You know when the lion comes on, it's so they had the lion, but obviously no sound. So it didn't roar. I mean, it didn't even silently roar. It just sort of looked into camera in a sort of a slightly, what do I do now? Uncomfortable kind of way.
Did it look like the outtakes, like a clip off the news or something?
It looked like it was just clearing its throat pre-roar. But they could have let it roar, and then they could have put a thing up that said grrr. You know, they could have.
It roars now.
They could have,
Yes.
yeah. But maybe it couldn't roar, that one that they used. Obviously, it became very iconic, the roaring thing. But come the talkies, or as the Lions call it, the roaries, he was out of work. But it was so odd. We know what it's doing when it opens its mouth like that. I've never seen a lion look uncomfortable.
It seems a waste of a lion.
What, even
you go
in
to
your...
the trouble of booking one. Get it
Alan, even during his childhood years in Kinshasa, that you told us about earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
That's extraordinary.
I never remember a mute lion out there. I found them... at best, they would sort of growl. But, I never heard one purr. That's because they were kept in very unkind captivity, I suspect.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.
Any more word from the outside world?
Yeah, Frank, we've had some texts in. 592. This is from Amy. Do you ever listen really carefully to a song to hear the singer catching their breath after a long note or lots of lyrics? It's something I find myself doing often, but wondered if anyone else did.
That's a brilliant thing to do, Amy.
I think that's a resounding yes in this room.
I don't think I ever have done that.
Oh, I've definitely done that.
I don't like that bit when you hear fingers sort of scraping on guitar. So it goes yeah, you hear them sort of...
No, that's only when you listen to The Fall, darling.
No, when they slide... Acoustics are particular culprits.
Oh, right, yeah. If you're listening to, like, blues or something like that.
Well, I don't listen to blues.
If you were. If you were.
I'm thinking if you were listening to, say, Judy Tsook. Say if you was listening to a Judy Tsook album.
I don't think I've got a Judy Tsook album.
No, well,
lend us one.
Well, I would, but I haven't got any either. I don't know if anybody has.
Strangest exchange I've ever heard on Absolute Radio.
I once met Judy Tsook, and she hadn't got any either. she said she was listening one day. She just got sick of it.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Of course he hasn't.
He's worked with them all.
Yeah.
We have had word from the outside world this week. Somebody sent an email in. I don't know if you remember, last week or the week before, you espoused your idea that dogs should have surnames and full names and human names. And the name you plucked, I thought at random, was Martin Henderson.
It was at random. It just sounds like a good standard human name.
Well, we've had an email in titled Martin Henderson. Hi, everyone. We couldn't decide upon a name for our Jack Russell pup when we had her 7 years ago, so I said I'd randomly pick a name from the paper. Yes, the name I found was Martin Henderson.
What?
So I was amazed to hear Frank say that he liked the name for the dog last week. Love the show, thanks, Adrian. P.S. We decided to go with the name Betty after thinking more.
You
don't like the idea that he was out.
So did you just chuck that name from...
Well, you know, it's the most ordinary name I could think of. And it just sounded like a funny dog name. How can one ever truly define one's comic instincts? But the fact that is, I think, probably my first ever psychic experience, if that's a true story.
7 years later.
Well,
he's lucky that he didn't end up with Tony Blair as the name of his dog, really.
But what's the chances of two people coming up with Martin Henderson as a dog name?
What are the chances of that happening?
That's this week's texting.
That catchphrase is copyright, by the way.
If there's any mathematicians listening. That is... Betty, I'm not sure about. If I had a dog called Betty, that I would be saying, ooh, Betty. I mean, just over and over.
Betty, you've done a whoopsie on the floor.
Yeah, but I would be saying, ooh, Betty, till I got sick of it. And then I would be saying it. Like, by the end, I'd be going, ooh, Betty, in a very... not giving it any Crawford.
That's my goddaughter's name. I don't want some mangy old mutt having that name.
Ooh, Betty.
It's out there. It's bound
to Betty. That's what it'd be like. How often would you really enjoy? Ooh, Betty, never again.
I'd say about the first 7 years, probably.
Yeah, I think I could do 7 years of the Crawford. Oh dear, I broke something on the desk. Oh, heck. Could have like a small jewel come off the bottom. Anyway, not very interesting for people.
Someone has texted saying the MGM lion was from Dublin Zoo. How do they know these things?
I don't know. When you think about it, though, when it roars, the MGM lion, when the talkies came in, there is an element of... about it. There is a Dublin... Yes. If you want to download Not the Weekend podcast, I suggest you get a computer. It's available to download from Wednesday, and that's us talking about other things. Oh, Mark! Sorry, it says mention Mark Crossley. Oh, Mark Crossley is next on the next show. And he's giving me that look of, I had that all through school. I don't want it now. Now I'm an adult and a respected broadcaster. But I'll make up to him in between this bit. It's been lovely, and it's been so great to have Emily back. And there is big love in the room. So, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, the Greeks may rise. Let's face it, they're on the verge. We'll be back next week at the same time. Ta-ra a bit.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.